Love.
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 Care.
Love. Love.
Sex.
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 Damnation.
Dance.
Dhamaka.
Danger.
Darkness.
दिमाग खराब है.
Tishkow.
Daru.
Desperados.
Destruction.
This is the LSDcast, India's first podcast about love, sex, and dating.
Hello once again, and welcome back to the show. This is Prem, and we have Rogue with us this beautiful evening. Well, it's evening for me. I don't know what time it is for you, Rogue.
Yes, it's morning for me. And we don't know, what time you're listening, because this is the interwebs and everything is flexible.
Where else could you find a show like this? This is like Mars versus Venus, male versus female, day versus night.
Yes, this is the show for all of that. Prem versus Rogue, or not.
You get to hear all of it here on LSD. So, Rogue, tell the listeners, what do we have planned for them?
For our listeners, a great show, as always. We're talking a little bit about breakups, though. So, Prem, when was your last relationship that, warranted a real breakup, like a real serious relationship?
I think it's been more than 2 years now. I would say like 2.5 years since I've been single.
Right. I think it's about the same for me. So, I think it was kind of parallel, right? We were both in long distance relationships and broke up around the same time.
Right.
So, when the breakup happened, when you start dating somebody, obviously your lives get really entangled and you make friends together. You also share your individual friends and they become your partner's friends and your partner's friends become your friends. So, our question today comes from someone about that whole aspect of the relationship game. And we, of course, have lots to say about it.
Yes, and we will. But first, we have to take a quick break and we will be right back.
Hi, this is Michael Burns from Tall Tales Takeaway, India's first storytelling podcast where we feature true stories by people just like you. Find us anywhere where podcasts are found.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo!
Yes, such a short break, not even enough time for you guys to miss us or even think of anything else. I love it.
Exactly. We do not give you a chance to do that.
Yes.
So we have a question that's written in by Beautiful Lee on Twitter. And Rogue, why don't you tell us what it is?
Sex.
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 So she says it's a serious question, LOL. You break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, do you block their friends?
Oh, wow. That's pretty direct.
Yeah, and it's I think all of us have to face this whenever we have a breakup because it's just so, it is a complicated thing. So let's jump in. Prem, tell us in general what you think, and then we can talk about what we've done specifically when we had our last breakups ever so long ago.
Isn't it amazing? Like, we live in this world of social media, and it is so intertwined with our very being, our very existence. And and it can reflect quite adversely. It just depends on the kind of person you are. So, having said that, if a person has been very invested in a relationship and was deeply in love and is hurting, then I would say that it makes sense to cut the person out from social media, obviously because they're done, but it also makes sense to cut off from the respective girlfriend or boyfriend's friends because you'll be reminded of that person through their friends. If their friends are tagged together, you see pictures, it's going to do something to you. So in order to avoid that, I would say that it makes sense to cut the friends as well.
True, but this is actually, I think it's become like a ritual now of the breakup where you sort of cyber stalk your ex. It's like a done thing. Everybody does it, but it's not healthy, right? You don't want to know that, they went to that housewarming party without me. I was supposed to have gone with them. Or, that other friend had a picnic brunch and my ex was there and damn it, he's having fun with all these people and laughing. So it's just not a good thing to be doing to yourself by keeping tabs on them. So I hadn't even thought of that. That's a great point, Prem. You don't want to hurt yourself by having them pop up on your feed because you have all these common friends. You know, in my experience, all these common friends, you see them more on social media than you actually do in real life. And of course, once you're broken up, those ties are gone, right? So in my opinion, if the only way you know this extended set of people and that relationship is contingent on your ex, then I think it's a no-brainer. You should totally unfriend them because you're not going to be hanging out with them and it's pointless. Why would you want to do that to yourself or them and pretend you have a relationship when really it's because you had the ex in common that you were even friends? I think there's nothing wrong with just dumping those people and blocking them.
You know, it's funny. Speaking of cutting ties, I just actually unfriended your ex very recently.
Like, really? Now?
Yeah. I mean, I had no idea that I was still friends with him. I had no idea.
Yeah. I guess the partners who break up are the people who usually do the unfriending, not the extended friends and stuff. Like, so if I would be the one unfriending my ex's friends rather than waiting for his friends to unfriend me.
Correct.
So, yeah. He should have unfriended you.
No, it didn't happen. So that's because Prem is unfriendable, darling.
Okay, fine, if you say so. Moving on.
It actually depends, Rogue. It depends on you as a human being. If you're okay, with the situation, then you would either unfriend just the person you're dating, but not their friends because you have kind of like created this rapport with them and you are friendly.
Yeah.
So that could happen.
Right, but it can also work the other way. So my ex had some things in common with some of my friends, and after we broke up, he would reach out to them and say, let's do like whatever this activity together, or let's go here together. But it made it uncomfortable for my friends who felt like they didn't want to see him because our breakup had been really bad and they didn't respect him, and B, they thought they were being disloyal to me by hanging out with him because they rightly thought that their relationship with him was contingent on his relationship with me. They didn't want to be friends with him, and it put them in a really awkward spot. So I had phone calls from people saying, can we unfriend him? And I would be like, of course.
Yes, please go ahead.
Please unfriend him. And speaking of, when you broke up with your ex, she would keep popping up on my feed doing whatever, having drinks with people and stuff. And I felt like I really didn't care about her anymore because you guys were done. And I wasn't interested in where she was traveling or who she was going out with because she wasn't in your life anymore. And I remember asking you if I should unfriend her, and you were like, psh, be my guest. Do I care? So, because you weren't interested in keeping tabs on her or hearing from me about her.
No, not at all. What's the point? See, that's what people should understand. Like, once it's done, it's done. You make a decision, then you stick to it, and then it depends. If you, like I said, if it was a very harsh breakup, then you at least do yourself a favor and at least let the healing process begin. And that's when it will begin, is when you allow it to. And that's the first step.
Right. Even if you and your ex are going to stay friends, I can't stress enough how, you have to take time out to sort of regain your sense of self. And that really means no contact with that person and his or her extended circle. Because when you're a couple, whether you want it or not, you do become intertwined and your identities sort of mesh. And you share friends, you share circles, and you really have to break out and become your own person. So no contact, no photos, no stalking. I think is the healthiest option.
Yes, I agree.
So are there circumstances in which you can stay friends with your ex's friends? Of course, absolutely. I'm trying to think if yeah, of course. I have prime examples. I'm friends with my ex's siblings. And we're good friends, but we had a cooling off period, definitely, and we don't talk about my ex because he's just not important. We really do have very direct interpersonal connection that has nothing to do with him. We had moved beyond that ages ago. So, yeah, it can happen. It can work. And I'm glad I didn't block them. But anyway.
So it's amazing, right? Like there's some people you end up being close to and then end up being close to their friends as well. And there's some that just you cut away. And I guess that's exactly how life is.
Yeah, you have to pick and choose the best ones and the ones that work for you and make you better and healthier and happier and all that feel good mumbo jumbo. That's the stuff that you want to hold on to.
Exactly. So on that happy, feel good mumbo jumbo, let's take a quick break and we will be back.
Find the LSDcast online on Twitter and Facebook and on iTunes and the Google Play Store.
We are back for you.
Yes, we are.
So, you can find us on Facebook and don't feel like you have to unfriend us because we're not the sort of people you break up with.
Exactly.
We are a relationship for life.
We would never do that to you.
With you through your dating, through your singleness, through your love, through your marriage, and also possibly your breakups. We're here. We're right here. Prem and I are here for you.
So dramatic. I love it.
I know. We're so good.
Behna, nahi, mujhe unfriend mat karo. So, have you been in like a situation where you have been okay when you deleted someone and their friends are there, like his friends are popping up? Did it ever bother you?
Yeah, absolutely. So when it did, I unfriended them. And I think there was some kind of tension for sure. Like, should I, shouldn't I, shouldn't I? But...
So I'll give you an example of what happened very recently. I was dating someone and I knew it's not going to go the distance. I knew it pretty early, but I should have been listening to more of this LSDcast show that Rogue has been talking about. I should have listened to some of the episodes because I didn't quite pull the plug because I realized that it's going to get messy and crazy. So I prolonged it. And of course, it was inevitable. It became crazy. It became very ugly. Even that was short-lived because you got to give the other person space to like spew and with all that anger and venom and let it all out. And once that's all out, then they have said what they have to, then the healing process begins. And then, of course, this mature enlightenment takes place, and then they apologize for their foolishness. But it always is never the case right in the beginning.
Okay.
So when this happened and I kind of like pulled the plug, this woman like cut me off from all social media. But she went on a rant to some of my closest friends. And started like messaging them, like privately messaging them and telling them,
saying
"Oh my
what?
God, this guy is so just throwing me under the bus. This guy doesn't know what he's missed out on. He's,
oh my God,
he's crazy. He lured me into this. Blah blah blah. Just went on this rant, and my friends were like laughing." So,
oh no.
So I told them that, listen, you guys became friends on your own time. So if you decide to unfriend each other or you decide to unfriend her, it's up to you. But I'm not going to get involved in this bullshit. So ultimately what ended up happening was that she said all this and then unfriended him immediately after that, like a day or two later.
Bizarre. So how do you respect somebody like that? And why would you want to stay friends with them? And why would your friends want to stay friends with them?
So that's also correct, listeners. So this also...
That is correct.
Yeah, because it shows your class. Like it shows the way... Aukat, the way you handle situations, more than aukat.
Yeah.
You know, and there's always a really mature way. I remember many years ago when I was younger and I was very affected by this relationship I was in, and I involved like so many people, including my sister Dio and so many of my friends and family. And I used to vent like really like really shout out. And one of my friends said that, bro, it's absolutely fine that you're saying this to me, but I would never speak to you again if you ever said all this to that person, because you sound like such a idiot, like so immature and so stupid. So I will always remember those words of advice. So all the listeners out there, if you feel like so much anger towards someone, don't tell that person just that. Don't vomit all that crap on the other person. Do it to your friends. That's what friends are for. And let them be the judge.
Or do it constructively, go for counseling or something to work through your feelings. But don't direct it at your ex or your ex's friends who have nothing to do with your shit, right? Basically, that's what it boils down to. Your baggage is your baggage.
Yeah.
Lift it yourself. Okay, right. I get kind of judgy when it comes to things like this.
Really?
Yeah, people should take ownership of their own nonsense, right?
We hadn't an idea.
You had no clue. I feel this way about anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, coming back to Facebook and social media and, other people's extended circles.
Yes, please use it and find us and write about us. Yeah, love us.
Yeah, find us, friend us. Yeah, and if you guys have a second, we would love for you to review us or rate us on the podcast app that you're using, iTunes. It really helps. It would help us get a lot more listeners if people knew that we exist. So do your bit, pass the love on, pay it forward, and we will love you forever for that. We would never unfriend you when you do things like that for us.
It's our promise.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, people.
Until next time, see you soon.
Ta-ta.
You've been listening to the LSDcast, where it's all about love, sex, and desi dating. With your hosts, Prem and Ru.
A Sonologue production.